Welcome to a New Life podcast with Pamela Jean, where it's all about empowering women to empower more women. Get ready, friends, to create a new life. And here is your host, Pamela Jean.
Hello, my friends, and welcome to this week's episode of A New Life podcast. I'm Pamela Jean, your host. Thank you so much for being here. You know, I had a goal of 2024 of interviewing some of the most interesting women that I have met, women in business that I have met over the time. And I have a guest today that I'm so excited for you to get to know. I'm excited for you to learn from her. She has so many irons in the fire. It's incredible what she's accomplished. But not only her accomplishments, I'm excited for you to learn about her why, behind her why. She's very success driven, but she's on a mission to make some big changes in the world. And I'm excited for you to hear about those things as well. So today, my guest is Adriana Fout. Adriana is in Tulsa. That is where I live as well. So I met her at a networking meeting several weeks ago, and we had an immediate connection, which is so fun when you go to events and you come across people that you are just absolutely meant to meet. And Adriana is one of those people for me. I will let her go into her bio and tell us more about her. So, Adriana, without further ado, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Pamela. So a little bit about me. I am a branch broker with the eXp Realty. I'm also a team lead of the Alpha Group real estate team. I'm the owner and broker of Surplus 60 Management. I'm a territory owner of Oklahoma Center Sphere. And just in short, I'm a Mad Hatter.
And that probably serves you well at times and may not serve you well at other times.
Yes.
So I understand completely. So when did you know that business ownership and an entrepreneurial journey was for you?
It actually started at age 19. I was working for somebody and I noticed they had a lot more going on in their life. They were going on vacations and they owned things, like their vehicles were owned outright, their home was owned, they had business offices that they owned. And I had not seen somebody have that much success, or as far as tangible items that we can see. And I saw how happy they were. And I noticed that I was working from paycheck to paycheck. I was renting a room, and, all these things were kind of adding up that I needed to do something different rather than just getting a paycheck every week. And I saw a need that not only their business had, but others that were similar to them. And I created my first company, and it was amazing.
That's so good. So where did you grow up? Where
I
was
grew,
your first place that you called home?
so I grew up in Northern California, 45 minutes inland from San Francisco. And I lived there until I was 26.
And how did you land in Tulsa?
Well, the recession hit, and I was doing construction accounting. In fact, that's the business that I had. And all of the companies that I worked for didn't have money coming in. And it was kind of a scary time, seeing friends having to sell their homes, foreclose. I had friends that were real estate brokers and they owned multiple properties and they were having to sell off or foreclose on them as well. And I moved to Oklahoma because it is one of the U.S.'s safe states when it comes to a recession.
Interesting. You're the first person that's ever said that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Good. So, what are some of the challenges that you have faced as a business owner and entrepreneur?
There have been a lot of fails, but I've learned from all of them. The largest challenge that I have is hiring others. Um, I feel like I'm able to get the business up and running, take over failing businesses, get them up and running, but then getting them across a finish line into another race, it's just been difficult. And I don't know if it's because now it's up and running, so I subconsciously feel like, oh, it's smooth sailing, it works well, but not perfect.
Mhm. And you know that there's always more that you can do. That's the nature of the beast, I think. You said something that's so spot on is that you failed a lot of times. If you're
Mm-hmm.
not failing most of the time, that means you're not growing. Failure is part of the process, and I don't even like to think of it as failure, because without trying things and having them not work, you're not going to try the next things. So failures are necessary, and learning from them, of course, are, that's the only way that it's going to work. Is you have to have those failures and analyze what didn't work and analyze what did work. Sometimes what you learn is not it's not necessarily what does work, but what you do learn is like, okay, I'm never going to do it that way again, because that way is not effective. And then you try something else, and then you try something else. That's very normal in growth of business. If you're not trying new things and stretching yourself, you're never going to grow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I saw that so many times. So I took over a comedy club for a while, and I had never worked at a comedy club or owned a comedy club, but I thought I'd give it a chance. And
Just give it a try, huh?
just, yep, just jump in there and
I think
see
that's
what
what
it.
I love about you so much, Adriana, is that you just have a wide mind and wide heart and eyes open to trying whatever you want to try. Like, well, why not? I'll give that a try, because at the end of the day, business is business. It
Mhm.
doesn't really matter necessarily what the business is, what you're in the business of doing. Business is business, whether it's a comedy club or realtor, whatever company you own. It's the business foundations are pretty similar.
Yes, and something that I do is I study those that I see successful. So there was a comedy club that I loved going to in Sacramento. It was our favorite, and I took from them what they were doing, and I adjusted what was happening here. Um, when I did that, some of it worked, others didn't. So then I had to ask customers that came in, how'd you hear about us? What'd you like? What was your favorite? What do you want us to do? And obviously, you can't do everything that people suggest because they don't know the back end of what's happening at a business. Um, but listening to their suggestion and thinking about it, taking the time to actually figure out how to accommodate it without hurting your business. And something that I really enjoyed about it was watching the engagement of our customers.
Mm.
It was my favorite part was sitting at the back of the room while the comedian was putting on a show and watching everyone laugh and enjoy it. So no matter how stressful it was or how chaotic the advertising was, at the end of the week, that was my goal that had been met.
Well, you are relational driven, you're relationship driven. And I think that is a testament to all of the companies that you're involved in. Your center sphere company is about networking and bringing people together. Your brokerage company is about networking and bringing people into their homes and helping them get to their homes. As a real estate agent, it's the same. Everything that you have your hands in is so relational driven, which really is such a great segue into your why. And I really enjoyed our conversation when you were sharing with me why you do what you do. I would love for you to tell our listeners about the causes that matter to you. One thing you said to me when we were visiting is that everyone deserves a home. Everyone deserves a home. And that's so true and so powerful. So, if you could just share with me and the audience, what are the causes that matter? Why are you working so hard? I know I'm working hard, you're working hard, but what is your why? What's the why behind your why, and why does it matter?
So for each business, there's a different why, but I think they all do boil down to someone having a place, whether it's a physical home or a place to connect. With Centersphere, it's open to all business professionals, entrepreneurs, and business owners, where some of the organizations are specific to area or specific to type of business or age. Centersphere allows members to connect regardless of their industry and regardless of how new their business is or how seasoned it is. Um, Not everybody knows how to network, and so we help support them in the aspect of learning how and getting connected with the right people, building their
Excellent.
business, being successful, and it also keeps me from having to open another business. So it satisfies the serial entrepreneur in me.
And
Um,
that's necessary.
yes, it is. Yeah, I don't know if my schedule can handle anything else at this point. And then with real estate, so my real estate kind of encompasses a lot. So a lot of agents, they only want to sell homes. A majority want to sell high-end, beautiful luxury homes, and that's great. However, we also need rentals, and we need homes to be flipped, and we need beginner homes. We need standard homes. We need homes to downsize into. Um, so that's kind of where being with EXP and then also opening my own um, property management brokerage came into play because everybody does need a physical home. We see so many veterans on the street. We see veterans not knowing how to purchase a home when they are fully capable of it. So that is, the veterans are my main focus when it comes to buying and selling. Um, Growing up, we did not always have the best home. We rented a lot. And I know it was hard on my parents. It was hard finding a good home that was well cared for. And so the clients that I work with, the investors, I do require that they take care of their properties. And the way that we engage on that is I want their investment to last and I don't want it to be a burden on them. So if we're taking care of it and we're maintaining it, they're going to be happy. But then on the back side of it, I know that who's living in the home is going to be happy as well. Um, and I firmly believe that whether you, because we see it all the time, don't rent, buy, don't rent, buy. Unfortunately, that's not feasible for everybody. So we need to have these rentals available for people and in good areas, good sizes, because people rent for different reasons.
So you're bridging the gap.
Mm-hmm.
Bridging a gap from the people that can't necessarily afford to buy, the 2,500 to 3,000 square foot home, but yet everyone needs a home and everyone deserves a home. And you're bridging that gap.
Yeah. And I think that I push as hard as I do to sell and to lease out as much as I can, um, purely because I know that every home is attached to about 10 to 15 other individuals, and it's providing jobs to them.
What impact do you desire to make through your work?
The impact is with my agents. So I have a team with the Alpha Group. We have several agents on our team, and a lot of them are newer. We do have Spanish-speaking agents, which has become a good focus for our team. We have seen that the Spanish-speaking community is not always serviced as well. So we do want to impact that community. I also want to get them to their goals. I mean, the impact is just, there is a lot to it. In fact, so this business has
I'm going to interrupt you for just a second. I know that's such a broad question for you
yeah.
because you have passion for so many things. And I know that about you. And to say, what impact do you desire to make, where you're like, all of it. I want to make
Right.
all the impact because it's
There's
hard for
so
you to
many
pick one.
ways.
And I get that. So keep going.
So with Centersphere, I have had the opportunity this past holiday season to help the Demand Project Hope. We also raised thousands of dollars for the Eastern Oklahoma Food Bank, and that is going to be servicing veterans and active duty service members here in Oklahoma and their families. So as far as impact, I think that I'm able to not only help the agents on my team, not only help the business professionals and owners and entrepreneurs in Centersphere, but then also help our community by reaching what they need. And, we look around and we see the homeless population is increasing. We are here in Tulsa, we're short 11,000. What did they say? It's 11,000 homes that are affordable for rent. So that's
That's a
so many
lot.
people are displaced at this point because of that. And we don't necessarily see them on the street because family members let them live with them. They, find friends that have space. But in order to stop and reduce the homeless population, in order to reduce the number of people incarcerated, we have to look at small effects that created the larger problems. My husband and I, we adopted our children. If you look at the statistics on children in the foster care system, once they age out, most of the time they end up incarcerated or on the streets. So how do we change that? Well, we took it upon ourselves to adopt two amazing boys. I mean, fantastic kids. And so as far as impact, that's kind of why I work so hard.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you know what I'm realizing about you, I know your heart just from our long conversations that we've had. I know your heart, but I feel like what I've just learned about you is when you see a problem, you're going to create a career to impact and fix a problem. Every profession you have has a purpose. And there's nothing more powerful and valuable that as servants of the world, servants of our community, that we focus on a profession that has a purpose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
Does
I've
that feel
never.
pretty accurate that when you see a need, you're like, well, I'll just go start a business so I can take care of that need?
Yes. Yes. I do.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm learning about you, is like, if you see a problem and you can find a business that can fix a problem, you're doing it.
Yeah. And it's funny because um, I never look at it as, oh, this is, purpose driven. I just see the need and I just go and do it.
It's second
And
nature for you.
yeah, and there was somebody recently on social media posted the question, have you figured out your purpose in life? And I saw that and I'm like, what in the like, how are you ever going to figure that out?
Mhm.
And I just think that for me, I'm very solution based, and I grew up with entrepreneurs. My grandfather owned a pave and grade company. My dad owned multiple companies. My stepmom had a cleaning business, and I never really saw somebody going to like a 9 to 5 job. So I just felt that's just what you're supposed to do, is just
Mhm. That's
find a
your
solution
normal.
and build a business.
Yep, I love it. No, I love that. And there should be, not everyone is meant to be a business owner. Not
Mm,
everyone is meant to be an entrepreneur, because it is a very unique journey, and it's not for everyone. If it were
yeah.
for everyone, everyone would be doing it, but it's hard, and you know how hard it is. But I love that about you, that that was your normal, that why wouldn't you start a business? Because that's just what you do. And
Mhm.
that's how you've been raised. So I'm really excited about our journey that we are going to start shortly. And we are going to be coaching together. And I
Mhm.
can't wait to get started with you. There's so much that we can do together, and I just simply cannot wait. Why did you decide now was the time for you to step into coaching?
Well, I think I touched on it a little bit before, is that I'm able to get businesses to a point, and I just can't get it over that hill, that first hill, to get it up to another mountain. I can't.
You get businesses from failing good to great, and we're going to
Yes.
get you to exceptional.
Yes, and that it like I cannot wait. I feel like um in order to I feel like a lot of the times, and it's very true for myself, we get buried in our business and we're in the way.
1,000%.
And I know that there are solutions out there that I don't know. Um, while I have a degree in accounting, I do not have a degree in business. And I only have an associate. So I don't know if I would have taken and gone and gotten my bachelor's, was there information that I missed out on? I'm sure there is. And I can't rely on just the knowledge that I've received or that I find, because I do a lot of research and a lot of studying. I'm always in different trainings, trying to get better and know more. But I know that I need to rely on other people, such as yourself, that has answers and ways of articulating information to other people. And
I think
so
yeah,
that's why.
I understand exactly what you're saying. I think what's really interesting and a missing component for a lot of people is it's not just about the business. It's not just about the logical side. There's so much of the emotional side that goes into it too, the mindset that goes into it, the discipline that goes into it.
Mhm.
There's so much of that as well. And if any any component is not working like a well-oiled machine, it's going to be bumpy. It's going to be out of balance. It's going to be out of whack. It's important to have that balance encompassing you. And there's just business logistics that are so very important, but there's the mindset and the mental discipline that goes along with that.
Mhm. Yeah. And it's doing this on my own for as long as I have. Um, I've gotten it good and I've gotten it great-ish, but I do like being able to take a relaxing vacation. That would be nice.
Oh, you're going to get to exceptional before you know it.
Yes, and I am so ready. I'm so ready.
I'm so excited to get started with you. My brain has been working overtime getting ready for you. This is going to be the best journey for both of us, truly for both of us. Okay, so I'm going to wrap up our podcast with some rapid fire questions. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Managing, not necessarily hustling.
Working on your business, not necessarily in your business daily, correct?
Yep.
Got it. Perfect. That's a great 5 year vision. What advice would you give the younger you?
Find someone to mentor you.
Sooner than later?
Yes, don't just be the wild child that you are.
I get that too. And what's your favorite thing to do in your downtime?
On a daily basis, hang out with my dogs.
Oh,
On
yes.
a getting time away, it would be vacationing out of the country.
Mm, nice. Nice. That sounds perfect. So, what advice, some final thoughts, what advice would you give entrepreneurs standing in their way of getting started living out their life's purpose?
It may seem like you can do it yourself. It may seem that you can find the answers on the internet. But when you can be mentored by somebody knee to knee, belly to belly, elbow to elbow in the same room, there's a different aspect. When you can find someone to mentor you that truly wants to see you succeed and doesn't have a template that they're following, it will bring you success.
Mm. And I think it is important to mention if you're an entrepreneur or a business owner, especially if you're in a small business circumstance, it can get kind of lonely. It can get pretty lonely, and having someone to lock arms with is really, really important. And what's interesting is your family, your closest friends, they're not going to get you. They're not going to understand the things that keep you up at night. They're not going to understand the juggling challenge and spinning all of those plates that we have. But having someone to lock arms that is in the same exact place as you is just really, really important. Someone who gets you.
It really is.
Because there's that loneliness that I think, I started my first company when I was 21, and I never really thought about the loneliness that it can get kind of lonely when you're in business for yourself. And you're the only one who can fix that. If you don't seek out help or seek out someone to work with and coach and mentor you, then you're just going to stay on your island all by yourself. You have to be the one to do that work and to be vulnerable. Honestly, just to be vulnerable and say, hey, I want to lock arms with someone because I want to take great to exceptional, because
Mhm.
there's only so much that you can do by yourself. You have to have a mini army around you, warriors that are going to help you go to the exceptional level.
Yes.
Well, Adriana, I cannot wait to get started with you. I am so proud of what you've accomplished so far. I'm so excited for you. I absolutely love your servant heart, the heart that you have for other people, the food drives, the home drives, everything that you're doing is relational driven to serve other people. And that's such a beautiful gift that you have. And I just want to thank you, Adriana, for being here today and being a part of this podcast and sharing a little window into your business soul and your business world, just to share that with other people that are in the same place that you are. So thank you, Adriana, for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been wonderful, and I cannot wait to get started.
Well, it won't be long. It will not be long. So, friends, thank you so much for joining Adriana and myself today in this podcast. This has been so great. I want to bring to you the most interesting women that I meet throughout my work and on my journey as well, just to bring you new perspectives. We all are in this together. I think the more we rally around each other, the more successful each of us can be in our businesses and in our lives. It's really important. If you would please like and subscribe this podcast, share it with your friends, share it with your families. I know you know someone who needs to hear this conversation today. You'll find us on Apple, Spotify, Amazon podcast, as well as my website, PamelaJeanAnewLife.com. Thank you, my friends, and I will talk to you soon.
Thank you for joining us today on A New Life podcast. We will see you next time.